Greetings from me to everyone. Today we are going to learn voice. Now you may think, what is this voice? Definitely, we are not going to talk about the voice of India, but we are going to talk about the topic from grammar, that is voice, active and passive voice. Yes, as you can see over here, it's the voice from grammar. Okay, so it is a grammar topic that we are going to learn today. What is this voice? Voice is the term used to describe whether a verb is active or passive. The voice of a verb tells whether the subject of the sentence performs or receives the action. What is prominent in a sentence? Whether the subject is prominent or the action that is received by the receiver is prominent, is important. So, voice is the term used to describe whether a verb is active or passive. It also tells us whether the subject of the sentence performs or receives the action. In other words, when the subject of the verb is doing the action of the verb, for example, the dog bit the postman. The verb is said to be in the active voice, as you can see over here. When the subject of the verb is being acted upon, the postman was bitten. The verb is said to be in the passive voice. So, the voice of the verb tells us whether the subject is acting, it is a doer, or being acted upon, that is, it is the receiver of the action. Let's move on to our next slide. I hope it is very much clear to you what is voice. So, we are going to learn two types of voice, active voice and passive voice. Why do we study active and passive voice? That is a very basic question. We all study voice, we are studying voices, isn't it? But we don't know what is the purpose of studying active or passive voice. So here it goes. Studying active and passive is important to know how to make the focus clear. As I told you in the previous slide, that when the subject is prominent, it is active voice. That is, we give more importance to the subject. And when the receiver receives the action or the receiver is prominent, it is passive voice. What I mean to say over there is, receiver becomes important. Suppose I say, someone picked my pocket. It is ridiculous talking about someone, isn't it? Who we don't know and we have not seen picking the pocket. The important things I wanted to convey are my pocket and what happened to it. So I should have said, my pocket has been picked, or my pocket was picked. Second, active voice. It is used when the doer of the action is to be focused, as I told you. When the action is important, we use passive voice. In English, the passive voice is used only in the following situations, and I've given you the situations over here. It means where we want to focus upon what is prominent, whether we want the doer or the receiver of the action to be very clear and to be notified. So let's see. When the doer is unknown, example, my laptop is stolen. When the doer is understood, example, he was arrested, obviously by the police. When action is important than the doer, penicillin was invented. By whom is not important. When we know the doer, but we do not want to expose him. Sorry, sir, your file is lost. So these are the cases where we use passive voice. First, when the doer is unknown, as you have seen over here. Someone picked my pocket. So as I told you, it would be useless to talk about someone. What am I would be concerned with? I would be concerned with my money and my pocket, which has been stolen. That is, my money has been stolen. So there we can use passive voice when the doer is understood. He was arrested, obviously, by policemen. When action is important in the doer, that is, the receiver receives the action. So in that case also, passive voice becomes important. When we know the doer, but we do not want to expose them. Example, sorry sir, your file is locked. Next, here are the rules which I have given you. So I think and I hope that the difference between the active and passive voice is clear. More or less, voice is also clear. We keep on saying active and passive voice. But how many of you know what is voice? I hope the things are clear to you right now. And now, next we are going to move with and study some basic rules. That is, basic rules of active and passive voice. So first of all, you need to identify the subject, the verb and the object. Any basic sentence consists of subject plus verb plus object. As you can see over here, Samir wrote a letter. So who is the subject? Definite. Samir is the subject, wrote is a verb, and a letter is your object. Fine. So we have S plus B plus O. That is subject plus verb plus object. Now, next step that you need to see is the change of object into subject and vice versa. Like Samir is a subject. If I ask you a question, who wrote a letter? Definitely your answer would be Samir. So Samir is a subject, and when we transform the sentence or change the sentence, the subject in case of passive becomes object and object becomes subject. So you can see over here, Samir in this case has become object and a letter which was object has become a subject. I hope at least these things are clear to you. These are the basic things. Now, put the suitable helping verb or auxiliary verb. As per the situation and requirement, as we all know that it's a letter. We are talking about a letter. So what is this letter? A letter is in singular form here. So with singular form, we are going to use was as the sentence is past indefinite. So definitely, singular subjects would take was. So was plus V3 form. Always remember, the tense in case of active and passive voice does not change. But V3 form of verb is used in all cases of active in passive voice. Fine. Now, a letter was written. That is, written is the V3 form of write. Wrote indicates that the sentence is in simple past tense, and while transformation it becomes written. So as you can see, the third point over here, put the suitable helping verb or auxiliary verb, so that we have done here in this case. Next is your change the verb into past participle. So what is this past participle in a sentence? Past participle is the VD form of the base form of the verb. So what would be the base form of wrote? Definitely it would be write, and V3 form of write would be written. So a letter was written. And then what next? You have to add the preposition by after that. So by is added. Change the subject into object, and then the subject is changed into object. That is, a letter changes means takes the place of a subject. Okay, so as I told you, you must see the person pronoun or the noun used, if it is singular, definitely singular verbs will be used, and if it is plural, definitely you are going to use plural helping verb and then the V3 form of the verb in a sentence. So let's once again go through the rules of conversion from active to passive voice. As I told you, the basic structure of any sentence is S plus V plus O, that is subject plus verb plus object. Next, you need to take care of the object and subject, that is the change the object into subject and subject into object. What you are going to do next is, you are going to use the helping verb or the auxiliary verb. Fine, as per the person or the singular or plural form of the subject used. Change the verb into past participle of the verb. Okay, now past participle form will be used in all cases of passive voice. Next, what you are going to do is, you are going to add preposition by and then change the subject into object. Fine. Now here I have provided you with the list of subject pronouns. Change list of subject pronouns into object pronouns, like I changes to me, we changes to us, you remains the same, he to him, she to her, it remains the same, and they would change into them. It will go vice versa. Okay, let's move on to our next slide. Here I have given you the list of all the passive formation of all the tenses, active and passive voice related with tense, like for simple, indefinite. If you have understood the basic structure, definitely you will never face problems once we go through it. Okay, so I try to make things easier for you by giving examples also here. So active voice. Active voice is, or as I told you, is the basic structures of all the tenses that we have covered in our previous video of tenses, that you must keep in mind. Once you have done with the tenses, okay, once you have gone through the video of tenses, I hope and I know that you will definitely be able to identify the structure. As you can see in the first form, active voice, subject plus V1 plus SES plus object, that is V5 slash V1 plus object. So this consists of present indefinite, that is simple present tense. Now what would be the passive voice? As I told you, the subject would become the object and object would become the subject. Fine. So vice versa. The subject would become the object and object would become the subject. Okay. And then next you are going to use the helping verb as per the singular and plural person. Okay. Plural pronouns or nouns. Fine. And then you are going to add V3 form of the verb plus Y. Let's see the example. She helps the poor. So, as I told you, person pronoun, she is singular, third person pronoun. So, helps, V5 form of the verb, the poor is your object over here. Now, when you change and transform the sentence, that is simple, present or indefinite in this part, what you are going to do, what rules, basic rules you are going to follow. Let's go through it. The poor is your object, so according to the rule, the object would change into subject. Fine. Then the poor here is a common noun, so for that we are going to use are. Okay. V3 form of help would be helped. Fine. Then we are going to add preposition, and then what would be the object of she? As we have seen in the previous slide also, it would be her. The poor are helped by her. Now moving on to the next part, that is present continuous. What is the general structure for present continuous form? That is subject plus is MR plus V4, V1 plus ing. We get V4 form of the verb plus object. What would be the passive form? Definitely subject would become the object and object would become the subject. Then we are going to use helping verb plus, in this case, always remember, BEING will be added in case of present continuous form, and then you are going to add V3 plus by plus subject. Let's see the example. She is, as you can see, subject is she, is, since it is singular, is singing, V4, okay, singing a beautiful song, which is the subject, which is the object, okay, this time. Now, how you are going to make a change over here? As I told you, the object will become the subject. So, a beautiful song. So, since it is singular in number, you are going to use is over here. A beautiful song is, being will be added, and V3 form of song is sung, isn't it? Sing is sung. Okay, sorry, sing is sung. So a beautiful song is being sung by her this time. Okay, so by is a preposition that is added over here. This part of the sentence is complement that you are going to add at the end. I hope it is clear to you. Next, let us come back to present perfect. So first of all, we'll go through all the present tenses over here. Active voice of present perfect, as you all know, is subject plus has for singular subject and have for plural plus V3 plus object. So next, how would the passive formation take place over here? Definitely the subject would become the object and object would become the subject, has have, and as you observe that since it is perfect tense, so we are going to add being. And in case of continuous, it was continuous form, so being. So that is the difference you must keep in mind over there. Plus V3, as I told you, in all the cases of passive formation, V3 form of verb will be used. Plus by is a preposition that will be added after past participle, plus your subject, as I told you, will become object. You can see in the example, children have taken their breakfast. Now, children is plural in form, so definitely we are going to use have in case of perfect tense, plus V3 of take is taken, their breakfast is your object. So as I told you, isn't it? Your breakfast would become the subject over here. Children have taken their breakfast. So the breakfast, okay, has been taken by children. Okay, has been, as I told you. So the breakfast is singular, so has will be added, been will be added next to it, then taken, that is the V3 form of take, plus by, plus children. Now let us come to the past formation, past indefinite. It's very easy. Again, the same structure for the active voice as we have studied in simple past tense. So V2 form is used in this case. So subject plus V2 plus object. All the basic rules will remain the same. That is, object will become the subject and subject would become the object plus helping verb will be used. That is, depends on whether the subject is singular or plural plus V3 plus by. Okay, they played football in the evening. Fine. Now they is the subject. Again, you have football as your object. And rest part is a complement that we will be adding afterwards. So let's begin with the change in the basic rules of the passive formation for this sentence. Okay, remember we are studying past tense right now and not the present tense. So please keep in mind the use of auxiliary verb. Now this football will become your subject. Okay, and since it is played, V2 form. So V3 form will remain the same and we are going to add was because football is singular. Was played, okay, was played, as I told you, played is a V3 form of play plus preposition and they is your subject. So in case of object it will become them and in the evening. It's very simple. You need to practice a bit, my dear children. Now it comes to past continuous tense. Okay, before that we are studying present continuous tense. Now as it is past, so the only difference is that was and were will be added. So subject plus was, were plus V4 plus object. And when we transform the sentence, the subject would become the object and the object would become subject. And then accordingly was, were will be added plus VEING since it is continuous form, as I told you, plus V3 form will be added in all the cases of passive formation plus by. Okay, let's see the example. The teacher was reading newspaper. Newspaper is the object over here, so it will become the subject. And it is singular in form, so was will be added. Being, as I told you, since it is continuous form, and V3 form of read is newspaper was being read, the pronunciation would change, but spelling would remain the same. By the preposition will be added. The teacher is your subject, that would become your object. Next is your past perfect. It's a bit different, okay? In case of present perfect, we have studied that has and have is used. Has as per the subject, okay? That is, if the subject is singular, has is used, and if it is plural, have is used. But not to worry in past perfect, because with all the subjects we are going to use had, so there must not be any kind of confusion over here, and definitely it is perfect. So with all the perfect tense we use V3 form of the verb. Okay, please learn using a bit of tricks, fine, and do not just mug up the things. Practice, and definitely you are going to have better understanding of the chapter. Passive voice object, as I told you, object would become subject plus had plus been, as been because it is perfect tense, plus V3 plus by plus subject. I had written a poem. So a poem is your object, so it becomes your subject. A poem had been, since I told you, no issues over here. Need not to worry about the singular subject or plural. With all the subjects in case of past perfect, we use had. Okay, so need not to worry. So a poem had been written by me. That is the object form of objective case of I is me, and then since it is affirmative sentence or assertive sentence, you're going to use full stop. Now let's come back to the next tense, that is future indefinite tense. Active voice, subject plus will, shall plus V1 plus object, and the same rules we are going to follow over here. That is, the object would change into subject and subject into object. Will, shall, be will be added, that is be. Again, V3 form of the verb plus by plus your object. Okay, now see here, we will take lunch now. Fine, so be is your subject, will is your helping verb, take plus V1, lunch is your object. So let's make a change over here. Okay, let's transform the sentence. As I told you, lunch subject shall be. You can just see over here, that is the structure in case of passive voice for future indefinite. So shall be V3 form of take, taken, by will be added, be, us, that would be a change, noun. The future perfect, subject plus will, shall, have plus V3 plus object. When we transform this part, this object becomes the subject, will, shall, have plus been. In case of all the perfect tense, remember that being is added, my dear children. Okay, plus V3 plus by plus. Let's go through the example. She will have completed her homework. So the homework, okay, her homework will have been completed by her. Okay, next, voice related with modals. I've given you the basic structure over here. For active, it would be subject plus any modal plus V1 plus object. Remember, all the modals, with all the modals we use V1 form of the verb. Okay, that is the basic structure. But when it comes to passive formation, again all the general rules that we have studied over here will remain the same. That is, your subject will become the object and your object will become the subject plus modal. Okay, any modal, same modal. Any modal here means whichever modal you are going to use over here, that will remain the same in this case, plus VE plus V3, as I told you. Need not to worry. Just remember that in case of passive formation, we only use V3 form of verb plus by plus subject. So Rudra can speak English. Okay, so English is your object over here. It would become the subject. Modal will remain the same. Can. VE will be added. VE is spoken, because V3 form of speak is spoken. Preposition by Rudra, that is your subject, will become the object. Okay, so let's move on to our next slide. Let's begin with the passive formation of WH sentences. That is also called your interrogative sentences. What face difficulty in this part of the sentence? So as you can see how it is formed, I've given you the structure over there. WH word plus auxiliary plus subject plus verb plus object. Fine. Now why? You can see the example. Why did she punish you? Just see the structure formation. Why is WH word, auxiliary did, she is the subject, verb punish, object is you. Now how you are going to make a change in this interrogative sentence? WH word plus auxiliary plus subject plus V3 plus 5 plus EG. Your object will become the subject and subject will become the object. So why auxiliary with you will go, were, since it is in past tense. Okay, then you punished. Why were you punished? Verb is your punished. V3 form will be used by her. That is your subject is she over here. That will become your object, her. Okay, and question mark. Next questions beginning with who. Who wrote this letter? By whom? As you can see, I have made a note over here. Who is changed into by whom. Okay, so by whom auxiliary verb was this letter written and issued. Who will call him? By whom auxiliary verb will he be called. Since it is in future tense, so he will be added. Questions beginning with whom. You can see here whom into who. Whom will change into who. Whom has the principal on who. Perfect tense, so has been auxiliary honored by the person. You need to practice this, my children. All the basic rules are the same. Okay, practice at home and definitely you go to the point. And here you can see I've just mentioned few important things for you. Rules of changing some interrogative pronouns like who is changed into by whom into who, how many into by how many, in some cases what into by what. Rest of the interrogative pronouns remains unchanged. Now passive of imperative sentences is very easy. You all know what is imperative sentences. So I'm not going to discuss it anymore. Okay. So an imperative sentence in the passive voice has the following form. Like the passive form would be let plus object plus be plus past participle. See the change. Do it at once. Okay. So you know that imperative sentence is nothing but its order, request, command and so on. So what you are going to do, you're just going to use let and then do it at once. So you is hidden over here, your object is it, so let it be. The V3 form of do would be done at once. Open the door, you is hidden. Okay, so let the door be open. When the active voice is in negative, the passive voice takes this form. Let plus object, simply you are going to use not plus be plus past participle. Do not beat the dog. Okay, let the dog is the object, not be beaten. Note that do is not used in passive form. Fine. Note that the passive form has to begin with you when the object of the active verb is not mentioned. Work hard. The object is not mentioned over here. So what you are going to do is you are going to just see the meaning that it makes. Okay, it could be a command, it could be advice. So you is the hidden subject in case of imperative. That we are going to use it here. You are advised to work hard. The passive voice is used when the person or thing acted upon is to be made prominent, as I told you. The passive voice is thus preferred when the active form would involve the use of vague pronoun or noun that is not clear. Okay, noun or pronoun that is not clear, like anybody, somebody, people, okay, they, as a subject. So how you're going to do it? Someone has stolen my purse. Just now I've given you an example, okay, in the previous slide. So this is very vague. We are not going to mention it, and that's the reason we use passive formation in these cases. my purse has been stolen. So my focus is not on the person who has stolen the purse, but my focus is on my purse that has been stolen. So do, does, and did are not used in case of passive voice. I've given you a question over here. Use passive voice to describe the given pictures given below. Okay. Hint, first write a paragraph in active voice and then change it into passive voice. I hope the things are quite clear to you. You need to practice all these things at home. I've tried my level best to make you understand each and every topic. I hope you are taking care of yourselves at home. You are at your home safe. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.